Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all for this next lecture in C programming. Okay, so today we are going to start a very crucial, very important topic, and that is we are going to start looping statements, or they are sometimes also known as loops. Okay, so today we'll discuss the basics of looping statement, and in the further lectures, we'll proceed with the more examples and more types of loops. Okay, so looping statements or loops are also known as iterative statements, right? And what is the meaning of iteration? Iteration means repetition. Okay, so now the question is why we need to study loops, right? Where we use these looping statement in our programming problems. Okay, so loops are basically required where we need to uh, repeatedly execute a particular statement or a set of statements, right? Okay, let us start with a example, right? Suppose I have a problem. Okay, let us take a very simple example. Suppose I want to print my name on the output screen. Okay, so I'm going to use printf statement for that, right? So I'll write printf, and inside printf I'll print my name. Okay, now suppose someone asks you, okay, print your name on the output screen 100 times, right? So here we have uh, so basically what we need to do, we have to do the same thing again and again. We have to write the printf again and again, so that is a kind of redundancy would be there. Okay, that is a wastage of time, wastage of effort. If I want to do a particular task n number of times, so it is not feasible to repeat that statement, to repeatedly write that statement and unnecessary increase the lines of code. Okay, so what is the solution here? Solution is looping statement. So basically, if I need to repeat a particular statement or a set of statement n number of times as per my wish, as per some condition, so I can use looping statement. So what I will do, I will write those statement only once and repeatedly execute those statement n number of times. Okay, so it will save my precious time, it will save my precious effort, and obviously the code would be much shorter, right? So let us come to the formal definition of looping. Okay, so looping, as I have told you, they are also known as iterative statements, okay, or simply called loops, right? Are used to repeat the execution of a statement. That means it can be a single statement or a set of statement depending on the condition, right? So it may be, okay, suppose there is a statement, let us say x, and I want to repeat this statement x, suppose n number of times. So what I'll do, I'll write this statement x only once and put it inside a loop, and that loop will iterate n number of times. That loop will repeat itself n number of times. So this is something code reusability, right? This is the main advantage of looping. The code would be reusable. I am writing a code. I am writing a code once and repeatedly executing it any number of times. Okay. Then comes, what are the different types of loop, right? So basically, the main component of any looping statement is the condition, right? Basically, there are three main components when we deal with the loop. One is initialization. Then what we have a test condition, and then we have a updation. Okay, so we'll come to that in the later slides. So if uh, if I want to repeat a particular statement or a set of statements, so how many times I am going to repeat, right? So there has to be some condition that needs to be tested, and and the loop will repeat itself until that condition is false. Okay, so if the condition is true, the loop will repeat itself, and when the condition becomes false, we will come out of the loop, or you can say the loop, the repetition will stop, right? Now the question is, I can put this condition in two ways. Okay, दो जगह मैं इस कंडीशन को पुट कर सकता हूं. First one is when I am entering into a loop, or you can say at the starting of the loop. So if I am checking a particular condition at the starting of the loop, then I will call that loop as a pre-test loop or entry controlled loop, right? So what is this? This is test condition is checked before the execution of the statement. That means at the starting point of the loop, I am checking the condition. Okay. Now, again, this is one of the very important point regarding the entry control loops. Minimum number of repetition, or you can call it minimum number of iterations in entry controlled loop is 0. That means it may be possible that you would not have a single iteration in your loop, right? Suppose you have put a loop, you have put some condition in a loop, and the condition is false at the very starting, in the first time it is false, then what will happen? There would not be any repetition of loop, right? So in that case, minimum number of repetitions are 0. So it is possible with entry control loop that I may have 0 repetition or 0 iterations. Okay. Now what are the loop that we are going to use that falls into the category of this entry control loop? One is for loop, that we will see in this lecture only, and then later we'll go with while. So for and while, these two are the examples of entry control. Okay. Then what is the other category? Other category is exit controlled, or they are also known as post test loop. Okay. Now let us try to differentiate it with a very simple example, real life example. Okay. We do have mobile connections, as we can classify them as prepaid or postpaid. So what happens in prepaid? First you have to pay you have to do the recharge, or you have to pay the money, then only you can use it, right? But in case of postpaid, first you use that particular, you take the services, you use those services, and then later, after using those services, at the end you make the payment, right? So same thing is happening in looping also. In case of pre-test, first we are checking the condition, then only the execution of statements can be done. But in case of post-test loop, first of all the statements that are inside the loop, they will execute, and at the last we will check for the condition whether we are going for the next repetition or whether we are going out of the loop, right? Now it may be possible that whatever the condition that you have put, that may be false at the very first time, but still if the condition is false for the first time, still your statement would execute at least once. Remember this thing, कंडीशन के फॉल्स होने पे भी कम से कम जो हमारे स्टेटमेंट हैं, जो लूपिंग स्टेटमेंट हैं, जिन्हें मैं रिपीट करना चाह रहा हूं, वो कम से कम एक बार एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं. ओके. नाउ one of the very important question is कि how I am going to decide whether I should go for entry control or exit control loop. So the answer is quite simple. If I have a situation where I want my loop to repeat at least once, if there is a kind of compulsion that my loop should execute, should repeat, should iterate at least once, then no doubt I'll go for post test loop, exit control loop. If there is no such condition, no such compulsion, then I can go for either for loop or while loop. Okay. So example of exit control loop is do while loop. So all these loops we are going to discuss in detail along with examples, right? Now let us come to for loop, right? So for loop is basically, again, it is a exit control loop. So obviously the condition would be tested at the starting of the loop, right? At the starting point, or you can say the entry point of the loop, right? Now what we have, this is the syntax for loop. So for is a keyword. Then in bracket, as I have told you, we have three components of a loop. First one is initialization, second is test condition, and third one is updation, right? Initialization means, okay, again, I'll start with an example. Let us say I have asked you to move 10 steps in a particular direction. Okay. So what you will do, obviously you will start moving and you will start counting. So you will count from 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, 5, and so on. Then when the value is 10, obviously you won't move when your counting is 10. Or maybe you will move until your counting is less than 11 up to 10, right? So from where you have started the counting, you have started with 1. So that is something, the initial or the starting point. So whenever we use a loop, we first of all we have to determine from which point we have to start. Okay. Then there is a semicolon, right? This is compulsory. After initialization, you have to put a semicolon. Then there is a test condition. So this is a condition that I need to test again and again, right? To determine how many times. So this condition will only determine how many times your loop is going to repeat, how many times your loop is going to iterate. Okay. So this would be determined by this test condition only. So this would be tested again and again, right? Remember this thing. Then there is a updation. Okay. So what is the meaning of updation? Like you are counting. So if you are starting from 1, then obviously after 1 you will go to 2, then 3, then 4. Okay, let us suppose I am having a table of 2. Okay, I'll start with 2, then obviously I'll go to 4, then 6, then 8, and so this is whatever is the initial value, I am updating that value, right? Now it is not mandatory that value is going to be incremented only. That value may be increased or it may be decreased. Okay, both possibilities can be there. Then what we have a opening braces and we have a closing braces. Opening braces means that is the starting of the loop, and closing braces means that is the ending of the loop. In between, I have a statement block, right? So here I'll put all those statements that I need to execute n number of times or repeatedly. So I'll put all those statements in this particular block. Now this block may have a single statement or it may have multiple statement. Again, that depends on the situation, right? Now how the control is going to transferred in this particular loop, first of all we'll come here, we'll come to this point, initialization. Okay, now remember, if you are initializing any variable, right, so it is going to be initialized only once. So that is why I have written here, this initialization is to be done only one time, right? Then after initialization, we'll come here. Now we always have a special variable that controls the looping, and we call it counter variable, right? Counter variable or control variable. So this is the variable through which we are going to decide whether there would be a repetition or whether we'll come out of the loop. So test, remember this thing, we always write the test condition only on the control variable. Okay, so here control variable would be tested. Then after testing, if this condition is true, then we will go inside the loop. We'll go inside this block and we'll execute all these statements. Okay. After execution of this block, where we'll go? Control will go to updation part here. And there would be some updation in the value, current value. Let us say it is 1, so it may be updated to 2, or it may be updated to any value. It may be incremented, it may be decremented, it may be multiplied with some factor, right? So it can be anything. But there has to be a change in the value, right? After updation, control will again come to this test condition part. That means again this condition would be tested. If this condition is true, this block would be executed, then again updation, then test condition, statement block. So this is how this control would be transferred if this condition is true, right? Now suppose if this condition is false, let us say after 5 repetition, after 10 repetition, this condition is false, immediately control will come out of this loop. The time at which this condition is false, control will come out of this loop. Okay, and then it will go to statement X. Now remember this thing, this statement X is not a part of loop, this is a normal statement. Okay, so execution will proceed in normal way after coming out of this loop, right? Now initialization we are doing only one times. Now here I am assuming, okay, my loop is going to repeat n number of times. Now if there are n number of repetitions, here it is written n times this block is going to execute. So condition would be tested n plus 1 times. Why I have taken plus 1? Because condition n number of times condition would be true and the last time it would be false. So the total number of times the condition is tested, that is n plus 1, right? Then how many times updation would be there? N number of times your value would be updated. Okay. Now the obvious question is, if we do not have this updation, what will happen? If you are not updating the value of the control variable or counter variable, then this is going to be a infinite loop. Okay, this is going to be a infinite loop if there is no updation, right? So when a for loop is used, the loop variable is initialized only once, that I have already told you, right? Then with every iteration, the control variable is to be updated and the condition is to be checked. Every time if there is a change, the condition is to be checked again and again until it is false. If the condition is true, the statement block of the loop is executed. Else means that if your condition is false, the control jumps to the immediate statement outside the loop. That means your control will come out of the loop, right? So this is shown in this flowchart also. What we have, first of all, we have an initialization. So control variable would be initialized, then there is a test condition, right? If that condition is true, then statement block will execute, then value of the control variable is updated, and then again it will go to the test condition part. Again it is tested if it is true. So until this condition is false, the control would be there in this particular loop, right? Statement block, updation, test condition, and so on. And when the condition is false, we'll come out of the loop and we'll go to some statement. Let us call it statement X. Okay. Now let us have a simple example. I want to print my name n number of times. So obviously I should know the value of n, how many times you want to print. So here I have given the value of n with the help of a scanf function. Okay. Now if I want to do something n number of times, so obviously I have to count it. So I have started my counting from 1 and I have taken a variable I. Now here I is the counter or control variable of this loop. Okay. So I have initialized this control variable with 1. It is not mandatory to always initialize a counter variable with 1. You can initialize with any value. It is up to you, right? So first of all, I is 1. Then suppose, okay, suppose I want to print my name, let us say 5 times. So n is 5 and what is I? Initially I is what? 1. Now it will go to this test condition part. Now 1 is less than equals to 5. True. So it will print my name on the output screen. Okay. So I have got my name here. Let us say name. Then after completing this, it will go to this updation part, I++. So I would be 2. Again, it will go to this condition part. Okay. 2 is less than equals to 5. Yes, condition true. Again, it will print my name. So my name is printed twice already. Then I will become 3. 3 is less than equals to 5. Condition true. Again, my name would be printed. Then it would be 4. 4 is less than 5. Yes, condition true. Again, my name is printed. Then I will be 5. 5 is less than equals to 5. Yes, true. Okay. So again, my name would be printed. So 5 times already my name is printed on the output screen, right? Then I will become 6. After 5, it will become 6. So when I is 6, 6 is less than equals to 5. Now this condition is false. So control will come out of this loop. Okay. So this loop has printed my name how many times? 5 times. So this is how you can dry run a program. Okay. This is one more example. Like I have printed my name, so I can print those values also. So same loop is there, but the only difference is here if I have given n as 5, so when I is 1, it will print 1. When I is 2, it will print 2. So this is how values would be printed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Any number of values you can print. Right? Now let us implement something. Let us try to implement this. Okay. So what we have hash as usual. We have to take 2 header files. Hash include conio.h. Then what we have void main. Okay. So now I need to take one control variable. So I have taken okay int I. Right. Int I, comma. Let's say n. Then clr scr. Now I should know the value of n. So I have to ask the user. Okay. So here I have written okay input value of n. Scanf percentile d comma ampersand n. Now I need to put a loop here. Okay. So what I'll do, for that is the keyword initialization, I am starting from 1, I equals to 1. Then how many times I need to repeat this? Up to n. Then I plus plus. Okay. And inside this what I have written, okay, printf percentile d comma, there is no need of percentile D actually, right? Because I want to print my name, so simply I'll write my name, okay, Vivek, right? I can put \n so that my name is always printed in the new line. At last, what I have, okay, get ch, right? Now let us compile it. So there is no error, no warning. Now we'll execute it. So how many times you want to print your name? Let us say 10 times. Okay. So 10 times my name is printed on the output screen. So you can give any value of n. And obviously the value of n should be inside the range of integer because I have taken the n as integer value. So you can give any value, right? So we'll continue in the further lecture. We'll take some more examples of looping. We'll do some more examples, right? I think for today that's all. Thank you so much.